Hi, I'm Eva Murphy from Electronic Engineering at IT Sligo, and this is my Leaving Cert Maths Grinds channel. I'll regularly add new videos for both higher and ordinary level maths, so make sure you subscribe below and click the bell icon to be notified of new videos. Okay, 2019 question 8, Leaving Cert Ordinary Level Paper 1 was predominantly sequence and series, but started off with formula manipulation first. So let's have a look at part A. The power P of an engine is measured in horsepower using the formula P is equal to R by T over 5252, where R is the engine speed measured in revolutions per minute, RPMs, and T is the torque measured in approximate units. And don't ever mind if you don't understand what revolutions per minute or torque is or any of them. For the purpose of maths, it's just a variable or a letter. Part 1 asked, find the power of an engine that generates 480 units of torque at 2,500 RPMs. Okay, give your answer correct to the nearest whole number. So all you need to know is that if they mention torque, it's a T value, and if they mention RPMs, it's an R value. Okay, so how would I do this? Find the power, and power is P. So I'm solving for P. Okay, so it is as easy as subbing in the values. 2500 by 480 over 5252. Okay, so your calculator, 2500 by 480 over 5252. Okay, and I'm getting 228.484 measured in horsepower, which is HP for short. So to the nearest whole number, 228 horsepower. Okay, rearrange the formula to write R in terms of P and T. Okay, so in other words, I need R equals. Okay, so the worst mistake you could do in formula manipulation is to try and do it all in one step. Okay, so you need to strip away everything from around the R. Okay, and you tend to go for the part that's furthest away first and then hone in on the R. So a bit like peeling an onion, there is the center, strip away the layers from around it. Okay, so the first thing I would get rid of is the 5252. It's attached to R by division, or it's under the line. Therefore, to cancel it, I multiply by 5252. What I do to one side, I have to do to the other. And once you have something on the top and something on the bottom, they cancel. So then you see that you're getting 5252 by P is equal to R by T. Okay, I then need to get rid of T, and T is multiplied to R. So therefore, if I divide by T, so again, always look, one on the top, one on the bottom. What I do to one side, I have to do to the other. So I'm just going to put it in green so you can see what I'm doing. So divide by T, and then on the right-hand side, the T's cancel, so that you're left with 5252 by P. It doesn't matter whether you use brackets or just put the letters beside each other, equals R. Or R equals 5252P over T. Okay, so that was A, part 1 and part 2. Part B then brought you into more sequence and series type stuff. Okay, a company was set up in January 2016 to repair engines. In the first month of its existence, the company made a loss of minus 4,000. Okay, and not very unusual for a brand new company to make a loss as you start off, and you'd hope that loss would get smaller. Okay, the loss reduced by 250 a month for each month that the company traded. Complete the table below to show the company's loss or profit for each of the first 6 months of trading. Okay, so the loss is going down by 250. Okay, so you have 4,000 or minus 4,000 if you want. And then if the loss is going down, you're adding on 250. because you're on the negative side. So that's where the minus 3250 comes from. You then add on another 250 because your loss is going down more. You add on another 250, you add on another 250 then, and then you add on another 250. Okay, so that was that first two parts. So just to give you a feel for some marks, that first part A there was 5 marks where you subbed in the letter, where you rearranged the formula. It was 10 marks for filling in these values for part 1. It was 5 marks. So you can see how the marks can add up in a question. Typically on the paper, question 7, 8 and 9 on the first paper, and the second paper tends to be the long questions, okay? So expect this question to be quite long. Part 2 then of B said, show that the profit the company makes in a month is given by the formula Tn equals 250n minus 250. Okay, so there's a couple of ways of doing this. You can either observe the pattern that's going on here and come up with the formula, or you can do it formally using sequence and series. Draw back here. Okay, right. So sequence and series, there's two on the Deriving Cert courses. There's an arithmetic sequencer series and there's a geometric sequencer series. An arithmetic one means you're adding or subtracting the same value to go from term to term. Geometric, you're multiplying or you're dividing by something to go from term to term. Okay, they are the two big differences. You have two formulas in the log tables. You have what's called a Tn form, and a Tn gives you a formula for the nth term. Okay, so when I talk about terms, that's term 1 in my sequence, term 2, term 3, term 4, term 5, term 6. Okay, so when you see a formula here for Tn, if I asked you in this question, what was T100 or what was the 100th term? Okay, it would be right pain in the butt to subtract 250 off each time until you got to the 100th term. Now it's doable, it's just long and painful. Okay, so another way of doing it is to come up with a formula that describes the pattern. Okay, and then just sub in 100 for n. Okay, so that's the Tn formula. It gives you the nth term. There's another formula then, which is called the Sn formula, and that's the sum of the first n terms. Okay, so what do I mean by that? Well, if I asked you what was S6, the sum of the first 6 terms, it's minus 4,000 plus minus 350. Basically, I'm adding them all up. 3250. 3,000, 2750. Okay, and they're all minus figures and I'm adding them all up. Okay, so it's the sum, and sum always means to add up. Okay, so that's the Sn formula. Again, if I asked you to sum up the first 100 terms, you can see how painful a job that would be to do it manually, but you can develop a formula for Sn, or the sum of the first n terms, and then you can do it quite easily. Okay, what goes into these formulas? Well, you have to use the first term in the sequence A, and you have to use what's called the common difference. And the common difference is what you're adding or subtracting to each term to get the next one. So you can see each formula then, because it's made up of A, which is the first term in the sequence, and D, which is the common difference of that sequence. Each Tn formula or Sn formula is unique to that particular sequence. Okay, now geometric sequence is the same, it's just different formulas. So Tn will give me the nth term in a geometric sequence. Sn gives me the sum of the first n terms. Okay, and there's this S infinity then, which won't bother you. Okay, so you can see two formulas depending on the sequence. Okay, so I like to use then, n is what they always call the terms. I like to use the Tn formula because I like the structure it gives me rather than looking at the sequence and seeing if I can come up with it myself. Okay, so that's the formula from the log tables. Tn is equal to A times n minus 1 times d. Okay, remember what A is? It's the first term. Okay, d is the common difference. So A for this formula is minus 400,000 even. D, the common difference, is what I'm going down by every month. So what you're doing is you're adding on 250 every month. The loss is getting smaller. Now, really easy to get your signs confused here, okay? But that's what we did. We added on 250 to go from term to term, okay? And it's because I added it on or subtracted it that I know it's an arithmetic sequence, and that's how I know that it's this particular formula and I need, not a geometric, okay? If it was something like my profit halved every month, then that's a divide by 2, and that's what would make it a geometric sequence. Okay, so let's plug it into this formula. So Tn, okay, I don't know what n is, but that's okay because I'm developing a formula that will allow me to give to find out the value of any term. So Tn is equal to A, which is minus 4,000 times n minus 1 times d. Okay, you see the placement of this d here? In our heads, I'm missing a sign. Yeah, I'm missing a plus. My apologies, my apologies. So it's A plus n minus 1 times d. Okay, why did I know I'd made a mistake? See that d that's there? In many cases, we like it to be before the bracket when we're multiplying. Okay, so I could write this formula also as minus 4,000 plus 250 times n minus 1. Now they are the same formula. I've literally just moved the d to before the brackets because in our heads that's actually much easier to do. Okay, mathematically it's no different at all. Okay, so I get minus 4,000 and then I'm multiplying this in. So 250 by n is plus 250n. 250 by minus 1 is minus 250. Okay, so that's what my Tn is equal to. Tidy that up and I get minus 4,000 minus 250 is minus 4250 plus the 250n. I'm looking back at what they asked me to show that it's given by. They just have them written the other way. 250n minus 4250. Okay, and that's the very easy way of coming up with the Tn formula. Okay. Now when it says, what profit does the company make in January 2018? Thankfully, they've told us that that's month 25. So you are looking for what would be the 25th term in that sequence. Okay, so you take what you had written down, which was 250n minus 4250. That's our Tn. So our T25 then means I'm just finding it out for the 25th month. Okay, so 250 times 25 minus 4250. So they're going to make a positive profit of 2,000 euros. Okay, find the month in which the company breaks even, i.e. zero profit. Okay, so remember all of these terms are measuring profit. So basically when this question asks this, it's asking you to figure out when is Tn 0. Okay, so zero profit. Okay, so instead of Tn, I'm putting in my formula. And you're wondering, when is that equal to 0? Okay, so just like you would any other algebra, numbers to one side, letters to the other. So leave the 250 in there, bring over the 4250, and divide by the number in front of the letter. So I'm getting n is equal to 4250 divided by 250. And I'm getting n is equal to 17. And I'm just trying to figure out now if that's okay, or they actually want you to figure out what month of the year that is, okay? I would be inclined to leave it like that. And I'm just looking at the solutions off examinations.ie, and yeah, n is equal to 17 is perfectly okay. Okay, so that's how you did that one. And then I expect normally in a sequence and series question, I'm expecting me to be asked about the SN formula, okay? That normally follows the work on Tn. And sure enough, find SN, the general term for the total profit of the company after n months, okay? And if it's after n months, I'm just going to leave n as n, okay? So take down that formula. SN is equal to n over 2 bracket 2a plus n minus 1 times d. Okay, and again, these don't change. A is your first term and d is your common difference. Okay, it's just a little bit of a harder formula to work with, but it's fine. Okay, so 2 times a plus n minus 1 times d. Okay, and of course you can move that forward again. Okay, which is what I'll do in the next line. N over 2, 2 times minus 4,000 is minus 8,000 plus 250 times n minus 1. Okay, that gives me n over 2 times minus 8,000 plus 250n minus 250. Okay, or n over 2 minus, well, I'll put the 250 in first this time, minus 8250. Okay. Perfectly fine to leave it like that, or you can also multiply this in. Okay, so I'm just going to do this bit in red if you wish. So I'm multiplying n over 2 by this, and you get 250, and then you get n by n, which is n squared over 2, minus 8250n over 2. So I'm getting 125n squared minus 8250 divided by 2, 4125n. Okay. So if you'd like to show off your math skills, you do the bit in red. If you're happy enough and you get full marks, you leave it as a part in black. Okay, so again, a little bit harder to work with because of the n over 2, but not that much harder. Don't let it throw you off. And don't let the n months throw you off. Just work with n like you would any other algebra type question. The last part then said, hence or otherwise find the total profit. Okay, so that total profit means you're adding up all of the months. So that's why that's an SN at the end of January 2019, which is month 37. Okay, so our SN was equal to n over 2 bracket 250n minus 8250. S37 then, at the 37th month, is 250 times 37 minus 8250. Okay, don't worry your head about that. Into the calculator it goes. 250 exactly as it's written down there, minus 8250. There's your bracket. And I am getting 18,500 euros there, okay? So after 37 months, you have made 18,000, which sounds like a lot, but 37 months is 1224, is 3 years. And if you've only made 18,000 after 3 years of a business, Well, I suppose it's profit. It equates to 6,000 profit a year. Divide that by 52 and you can see it's not a whole lot per month, okay? But in saying that, expect fairly large values for the S formulas because that's you adding up every single month.
If you are interested in technology or engineering but are not doing higher level maths, why not consider our Level 7 in Electronic and Computer Engineering? This is a 3-year programme that looks at the design and development of embedded electronic systems. These are the medical devices that keeps us healthy, the consumer devices that keeps us entertained, or the controlled systems that keeps us safe on the road. You can then progress on to the Level 8 in electronics and self-driving technologies and from there to the Masters.
Check out the link below for more information.